What's up, YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Necrozma in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these videos and you like it, drop a like on the video and let's get into it. So, earlier on we did Dawn Wings and we also did Dustmane and Lunala and Solgaleo, so I thought it would be right to do Necrozma. Now, Necrozma works a little bit differently to those Pokemon, and it's only a Psychic-type Pokemon, so there is sort of a niche there of using it over those other ones, and we'll sort of go over that. So its ability is Prison Armor, so basically the Pokemon receives 3/4 damage from all super effective hits, which works pretty well with Necrozma because it's got fairly good bulk to it. So its best sort of stats are its special attack, and it also has a good attack stat as well, so it can serve to be a good physical attacker and special attacker, like both of them. And it gets a lot of bulky setup moves too, which make it, pretty nice. So we've got our first set here. We're going to have a look at a physical set. Now this set is going to be a Dragon Dance set. It gets Dragon Dance, which is interesting. It's not like a dragon or anything, but it does get it. So we're going to go Dragon Dance to increase its attack and speed. We're going to go Photon Geyser. So obviously, this move is going to be physical if the the attack is greater than the special attack. And it also ignores abilities as well, which is a really, really good move to get around any annoying abilities and such. Earthquake is good on it for any Steel-type Pokemon. Steel-type Pokemon like to come into Psychic-type, so that's good coverage. And we also got Terra Blast on there. Now, Terra Blast is going to be used for fire here. So we've got Terra Blast Fire, which isn't a bad kind of defensive Terra on Necrozma. And it can run a couple of different Terras as well. But I like Terra Fire on there for the defense against any Bug-type Pokemon too. And at least Dark types will be neutral against it as well. And it's good for a Pokemon like, say, Scizor or something like that. That can really, really threaten with powerful Bug-type moves. Now, if with its stats, I sort of like Weakness Policy on there, so you can get your Weakness Policy, and then even after a Dragon Dance, it's going to be really, really hitting hard because its attack stat isn't amazing. It's not an amazing attack stat. So we've got Jolly Nature, max speed and max attack and Weakness Policy, and generally it can live a super effective moves thanks to its ability Prison Armor. So it's actually not a bad sweeper all round. Now, some other items you could run on there as well. I also want to note one thing, being Terra Fire, is you can't be burned by, say, Will-O-Wisp either, so I quite like that aspect too on the, on the physical set, I would say. You could do other stuff like this too. Fairy wouldn't be too bad on there. Just for any Dark-type Pokemon, that would be very, very useful because you are only weak to Dark types, so that would be, useful. I don't think anything else could be that great on it. Maybe, I don't know, I like Fairy and Fire on there could be good. Maybe Ground, you could do Ground on there to, I don't know, power up Earthquake or something like that. That could be somewhat useful, but then you have quite a few different weaknesses, so maybe not. You could have Terra Psychic on there too to power up Photon Geyser. That's another option for sure, but then you'd sort of be left with Terra Blast. So I think it's good to have either, say, Fairy or Fire would work probably the best on a sweeping Necrozma. If you got any more other Terras you think would work with it, of course, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, that's our first sort of set I'd look at here for a physical Necrozma. Now, our next set here is going to be a special one. So the thing about Necrozma is that speed's not that great. So even with max speed, it's not like super duper fast. So it can actually work as a speedy set, and it also can work in Trick Room as well. So essentially, when I was talking about this one here before, you could even change up, now I'm thinking about it, you could even change up that to Trick Room, and it could set up its own Trick Room, right? And you just adjust its EV, so you wouldn't give it any speed at all. You give it like 240, I give like 248 in health, and then put the rest in defense, and then make it Brave Nature as well. So you could do 0 IVs in speed. So you could do that as well. So it's a Trick Room setup. If you wanted to, I could definitely see that one working. So it can work alternatively. And with extra bulk, you can definitely live Weakness Policies, even like super effective moves, and get Weakness Policy even better. Okay, back to the special one. I just thought I'd mention that. So we've got Meteor Beam, which of course is a move all of these, fusions and forms and Necrozma do use. So Power Herb is a great item for that. Photon Geyser as well. So same sort of thing here, but its special attack is going to be higher. And Earth Power is a good move for any fire type Pokemon, any steel type Pokemon. And I gave this one Terra Fairy because I like Fairy on this. It works quite good, or Fire. Both of them work pretty well. So we've got a good defensive type for Fairy, and any Ghost types, and it's really good for like Ghost, Bug, Dark. It covers all of the resistances very well. So I would say Fairy's probably the best. Even on the physical one, Fairy could be the best one as well. I don't mind that Fire one because it can get around any burns, but I don't know, maybe you could get around it by, say, I know we're jumping back here. You could put Lumberry on there if you wanted to instead of Weakness Palsy. But then you need some more, Dragon Dances or something like that. But just stuff to think about there. So this one is a speedy set. So we've got max speed and max special attack, timid nature, and power herb. So Terra Fairy. So once again, alternatively, you could make it like this as well, like quiet nature for Trick Room. And it works well in Trick Room. So it can set its own Trick Room up, and it's capable of doing so because of its bulk and ability. So you could maybe, what would you get rid of here? You could get rid of Terra Blast, and then you could give it Trick Room, or have another Pokemon set it up. So yeah, just some options there. I'd say these ones are more for singles, more single sets, I would say. But they could work in doubles too. It's actually pretty similar running them in doubles, like the movesets and EVs and such like that. All right, let's check out some doubles and VGC style set. Okay, so as you know, this set is probably pretty similar to what I just kind of explained there. So firstly, we've got a Trick Room user. It's bulky enough to do that. This one actually gets Heat Wave, which is pretty cool. So you can go Terra Fire Heat Wave, and you might even be able to run that along with like maybe a Ninetales or Groudon or Torkoal. And because Torkoal can work well on Trick Room teams as well. So Torkoal, for partners, Torkoal would be good here. That'd be kind of nice. And then you've got Expanding Force too, because we're going to probably run something like Indeedee female. So like say Torkoal, Indeedee female, and Necrozma. That would work pretty well there. And the other move we got is Meteor Beam with Power Herb, just increasing the special attack more. So I see that working pretty nicely. And Heat Wave hits both of the, both of the opponents too. So that's going to be really, really good. And we've got Terra Fire. So that's going to at least resist Bug, and then Dark and Ghost will be at least neutral to it, right? So we've got Meteor Beam as the last move to power, super, maybe get a super effective attack off that, or just power up your special attack. So EV's pretty straightforward. Max health and max special attack, quiet nature. I don't know if you'd even need to put any other EVs into different. I don't know. I'm just trying to think if you even would, even in doubles. Not unless you are worried about living certain things, but Prison Armor and Max Health just allow you to live so many things. You could do Weakness Policy as well if you wanted to, but I'd probably drop Meteor Beam and give it something different. Maybe like, what do I have on this one? Probably Terra Blast. You could give it Terra Blast Fire, or maybe Terra Blast Fairy or something like that. You go for something different because I've already got Heat Wave, yeah. So that's another way you could go with Necrozma. Let's check out this next double set. Okay, so this set is based around another multi-hitting move, Hyper Voice, so it does get that. So you can go Terra Normal, which is also not a bad Terra to run on there. So you can have any Ghost-typed attacks aimed at you and not going to do anything, which is good. And then, the other weaknesses are good there because they're only going to be neutral and you're only weak to fighting. But with Expanding Force on it, that way you can deal with fighting, so it's going to be pretty good. Earth's Power and Protect. Silk Scarf as the item, so, powering up those normal type moves 1.2 times, and Terra Normal Hyper Voice, so you'll be able to hit some, hit pretty hard. And then, obviously, on your team, you'd have something to hit, like Ghost type Pokemon and such. But you still got Expanding Force as well, and you still got Earth Power, so that could still work well with Indeedee. For sure, with the Expanding Voice, and either you go Trick Room or you go like a more speedier set with like Tailwind, something like Tornadus with Tailwind. So that could be either useful to do. So this one's 252 speed and a special attack, timid nature, or with the Trick Room one, we could easily go You know, we could go special attack and quiet, and then we go 0 IVs. I had someone ask me as well, like, how do you go about getting 0 IVs on a stat? Pretty much you have to soft reset for the Pokemon if you're playing on the official games. If you're playing like on a simulator game like Showdown or something, it doesn't matter. But official games, you need to reset for the Pokemon. So my suggestion would be to go for like just reset for it and then go for the IVs, because you can always change the nature and stuff around and such like that. But I don't know, hopefully one day we'll get like a rusty bottle cap or something that can, you know, put a stat down to 0. That would be super good. I hope that happens in the future. So that's my double set here. Let's have a look at our next couple of sets. So our next set here is a stored power set, which works very well on all of these, sort of like Necrozma and, you know, Duskmane Dorwings. This is pretty good because it's only Psychic, so it's only got a couple of weaknesses, really. So Dark and Ghost. So stored power is going to be its main attacking move here, Terra Psychic. So we've got Carmine to boost up its special attack and special defense, which, you know, Carmine's a very great move for stored power. Iron defense to make it really, really tanky. And then we've got Moonlight on there as well. So Moonlight is going to be a way for us to heal ourselves up, pretty much. I thought you could run something fun on there like Staffberry, because Staffberry raises a stat by 2, a random stat. You might get like a speed stat or something like that, but the only problem is you'd have to put Necrozma down to a quarter health, and that could get dangerous as well. So that's an item you could go. You could do weakness policy on there as well. That could be one you could go for, definitely, but you're probably going to get those boost up anyway, I would say, but it still could work initially at the start. I feel like weakness policy would be good early game, not so much late game, as you got more bulk up. So that could be something. Another good item could be leftovers on there. That could work. So leftovers just for some extra recovery. If you're doing it, this is more primarily of a singles set as well. But if you're doing it in, like, say, doubles, which you could do, I would put Covert Cloak on there. So it doesn't, you know, it's not going to get affected by any secondary effects. So that would probably be something I would use for doubles, an item for doubles. And obviously you're going to need something for Dark-type Pokemon too. So you'd have a Pokemon that can deal with that. Dark-type Pokemon, and Steel-types would be a bit problematic too. But after a lot of Carmines and Iron Defense, that would do tons. And even Pokemon that are like, say, Dondozo, right? They're still... Alright, if they've got Unaware, that's bad. But Stored Power will still be at its high base power there. So it's going to ignore the boost, but it won't ignore the power still of Stored Power, which is good. That's one good thing about that move. The base power doesn't change. Now, yeah, that's about it. I don't think you could, if you're really worried about... I don't think... If you're really worried, you could put Terra Blast Fairy on there. But the problem is, once you lose... Probably wouldn't do that. But maybe, yeah, Terra Blast Fairy on there. But if you lose, like, your recovery, it's going to be bad, because it takes a little while to set up. So maybe you could try Citrus Berry. I'm trying to think of, like, an alternative way so you could hit other Pokemon too. You could do that, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it'd be in doubles, especially if you had, like, a partner which was, you know, could, or a Pokemon that could get rid of those types first. That would be better. Now, the EVs I've put on there are 248 in health. We've got 104 in defense and 152 in special defense. Calm Nature. So this is more optimized for singles for my health stat. So you could go max if you wanted to. But this would work. This would work pretty nicely in doubles as well. So you've got pretty nice all-round bulk everywhere on defense and special defense. And, you know, Calm Nature, we're dropping its attack because we're not using a attacking set. And, yeah, you could either opt for having Moonlight on there or Terra Blast or Terra Blast Fairy. Maybe a Pokemon with, like, Heal Pulse or something. You know, a Healing Pulse Pokemon could work there. Then sort of, like, heal you up while you're boosting your stats. That could work. Or you could have, like, more gimmicky stuff like Ring Target. You could have a Trick Ring Target Pokemon. I don't think Miracle Eye is in the game, so you wouldn't be able to do that. But that's just some other ways to go about running Necrozma, like a big, fat, bulky, stored power sweeping set. All right, let's have a look at the Pip Night special, and I'll do some, like, counters and teammates and other thoughts. Okay, so we got a mixed Necrozma set here, a mixed Trick Room flinching set. It's a troll set. So we got Room Surface as our item to begin with. And we've got Brave Nature, so we're dropping our speed, 0 IVs. And this one's got Dark Pulse, Iron Head, Body Slam, and Trick Room. So it's a mix set. So we got Max Attack and Max Special Attack. We're getting the most out of its physical and special. And once we've got Trick Room up, then we can start spamming Iron Head for flinch spam. And we've got 30% chance on Iron Head, and we've got a 20% chance on Dark Pulse. So we can go Terra Dark, which actually isn't that bad a Terra for it, except for Bug Pokemon, of course. And then we've got Body Slam to spread paralysis, and then we can, like, as soon as we get it paralyzed, we can keep spamming Iron Head and Dark Pulse to get, like, multiple flinches. So it'll give the opponent lots of fun. And maybe once your Trick Room runs out, you may even be able to set it up again because the opponent will be paralyzed that turn. So, Evil Troll set. A bit of fun there if you want to try it, a mixed Necrozma. I tried to give it all its flinching moves. The other move you might be able to give it could be Rock Slide. That's it. I think, it gets Rock Slide as well, but I thought the Body Slam might be even more, like, evil because you can have a Paralyze on there as well. So there's a beautiful set there. Give that one a try if you'd like. Let's try out some, let's have a look at some counters and such like that. So I was thinking Taunters, actually. So for this Pokemon, any speedy Taunters, even like Corviknight wouldn't be too bad. So Corviknight for typing wouldn't be too bad. That would be good for shutting down, like this, that sort of set would be kind of shut down by that as well. So if it had Taunt. The D-Dance set would not do well against Corviknight either because, you know, Photon Guys are Earthquake, Terra Blast. It could get around that easy, and Terra Fairy, so it could set up against that and taunt you. So that would be a good one. I'm trying to think of any other steel type Pokemon. Is there any steel? Jirachi. This is like hyper specific counter, but Jirachi would be a good counter against that as well, like being a steel and psychic type. That could be a good counter. Any speedy taunt Pokemon as well. Psychic Pokemon would be a bit of an issue there. That would be a bit of an issue. Maybe like Hatterene or Slowbro. That would be annoying for it. Depending on what rule set you're playing as well. Shadow Rider would be a problem for it. Definitely. That would obviously be a big problem. There's a big problem for any Pokemon. Bug Pokemon like Scizor would be an issue too. Unless you're running that Terra Fire set I was talking about, but you wouldn't be able to hit Scizor for very much damage, and if it had like Banded U-turn or something like that, that could be bad. And also its typing's good for that too. So there's some nasty counters for it. I was trying to think of some other ones that would be, good against it. Incineroar would be annoying as well. I was going to say, that's for doubles especially. Like, that would be a terrible kind of counter. The only one that would probably get around it would be the Dragonette's Earthquake set. But this has, if it has Intimidate and Parting Shot, you could probably work around that fairly easy. So that's another one for sure. Let's talk some teammates here. So we kind of already went over Trick Room. So Indeedee would be a good teammate there for Psychic Surge and Trick Room and Follow Me and stuff like that. Another good one would be Calyrex, Calyrex Ice Rider. That would be a good teammate. So anything in those Trick Room Pokemon would be good too. That could be nice for sure. This is a good counter, but it's not in the game. I'm just going to mention it anyway. So Yvarnal's a good counter for it too, but that one's not in the game. I'm just thinking of Pokemon. Trying to think of Pokemon as a whole if you're playing other games and Scarlet and Violet and such like that. But those are pretty good. Some other ones. I think I mentioned Torkoal already. That's not a bad Pokemon as well. Especially if you had a Terra Fire or like that Heat Wave set I was talking about. That would be pretty good. Ursaluna would be good. That's a good partner too. So trying to cover some weaknesses and such like that. Like you could swap into the ghost types and things like that. That would be pretty good. A fighting Pokemon would be pretty nice too. Any fighting Pokemon, let's say like Iron Valiant, that would be pretty good. Iron Valiant would be nice. That would at least try, get around that dark type, those dark type Pokemon. That'd be absolutely like destroy them. So there's a couple of counters and some Pokemon there that could work on a team. Let's have a look at some final thoughts on Necrozma, because we've done all of these already. So it just felt kind of right to do this. So Carmine, we already went over that. A bulky set. Dragon Dance, we sort of went over that. Iron Defense, Carmine. You could do light screens with Light Screen, Reflect, Morning Sun, and I don't know, Photon Geyser. Maybe that could be a good lead set. Or just set, like, it'd be very, very tanky, I guess. That could work. It can be a Stealth Rock set for singles, like a bulky Stealth Rock set. That could definitely work with something like... even on the sweeping set, you might be able to slide it on the sweeping set. Not so much the Dragonet set, but on the sweeping set, you could slide Stealth Rock on there. Or make, like, more of a dedicated defensive wall with, like, Moonlight, Stealth Rock, Photon Geyser, and maybe Meteor Beam. Something like that could work. I can see that working if you're playing sort of like those rule sets. We've gone over most. It does get Sword Dance as well, so you might be able to do a physical Sword Dance set. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a physical set would be interesting, like under Trick Room, like say Sword Dance, Rock Slide. I don't know, let's make it something like this. Sword Dance and Rock Slide. Terra Rock. That could work as well. And then you've got some other physical ones. Maybe like Earthquake, and then that's got reasonable coverage then, so you could do that. Maybe Psychic Fangs on there. Psychic Fangs are like breaking any screens and stuff like that. That could be a useful one for a Trick Room, like a physical set. And you'd have like Brave Nature, Zero. It's pretty slow already. You might even be able to put Weakness Policy on there. So yeah, so that could definitely work under Trick Room. I can see that one being reasonable. Just another way to run Necrozma. And Sword Dance is a very, very good way of boosting its attack too. Let's have a look at its physical moves. It's got quite a few. So probably its best moves there is Earthquake to hit Steel types with. It does get Iron Head, which is interesting if you want to do, say, Terra Steel. Psychic Fangs is probably that's its best psychic move, physical psychic move it gets. Unless you want to use the Photon Geyser, that's going to be more powerful. That one's going to get rid of any of those pesky screens and stuff. Where are we? So we got Rock Blast on there. You might be able to do a loaded dice Rock Blast set if you wanted to. Terra Rock gets Rock Slide for doubles. Stone Edge would be good against any like fire type, or I don't know, stuff like Charizard or Ho-Oh, Talonflame, stuff like that. Yeah, there's not too much. It does get Gyro Ball, but it's not that slow. Yeah, there's not too much more there for it to get that I already haven't mentioned already. So we got Dark Pulse. It gets Dragon Pulse, which is interesting. That's not giving it much coverage though. Earth Power is great for Steel type. Expanding Force is good for Psychic Terrain and Indeedee. Getting a boost there and hitting both the opponents. Flash Cannon is not bad to hit Fairy type Wiz, I guess. Future Sight could be interesting, maybe on that Stealth Rock set I was talking about. Heat Wave, Torkoal, Hyper Voice went over that already. Photon Geyser. It does get Power Gem as well, but I don't think you're going to ever run Power Gem over Meteor Beam. Does get Psyshock if you want to turn it into a mix set. Stored Power went over that one. Does get Charge Beam, but kind of outclassed by Meteor Beam. And yeah, Prismatic Laser Nuke. That's going to be about a Solar Beam for maybe on that. Maybe Solar Beam could work with that Torkoal set, like Heat Wave Solar Beam. Interesting, Terra Grass or something. Anyway, people, that is going to be the end of Necrozma and all the fusions. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'm sort of covering legendary Pokemon at the moment, if you haven't noticed already. So I'm going to do all of them first, and then we'll get to all the other Pokemon. There's lots of them to do. If you enjoyed it, drop a like there. If you want to see me do any Pokemon in the future, please put them below there. I am taking suggestions. I've got sort of like a little list and sort of gauging what people want to see. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.